November 22nd, 2021, Tualatin City Council work session. I'll go ahead and call that to order. We have one item for tonight, which is our council meeting agenda review, communications and roundtable. I believe tonight the pledge is for Council President Grimes, correct?
Yes, thank you.
All right. We have the Small Business Saturday proclamation. Who would like to do that? Okay, Councilor Hillier will take the proclamation. Do we have any questions about the consent agenda tonight? All right, with that, I'll go ahead and start the roundtable, and we'll start with Councilor Brooks.
Well, thank you, Mayor, and happy holidays to everybody. I have a few things to report. One was I did the recap of the Community Action Plan finalists, and we're getting ready. There was a selection made. I'll let Valerie talk about it. And we are getting a presentation in the beginning of the year for the Climate Action Plan. So I'm super excited about that and excited to share that information. I also had the Arts Advisory Committee meeting this between when we met. And I just want everyone to know that there's an opportunity. We're really focusing on the box wraps, and there's an opportunity for businesses to sponsor the box wraps. They can go in individually for $1,000, or as you know, to split it 500, and there's a map on the website of all the boxes that are available to wrap. And we put a call out to artists. So we'll be making artist selections, preliminary ones, and then it will go to the public, and the public will have the opportunity to vote on artists and the art that'll be going on the public, on the box wraps. The other thing we had at the Arts Advisory, and that is, here's the little, there's a whole packet. So if anybody has anybody that they wanted to talk to about it, there's sponsorship packets available and different ways to sponsor, and a lot of information on the website. There's also an arts pass that you can get through the Tualatin County Arts Program, and it's like $25, and it supports the arts. You get discounts and really cool businesses all across the county. So you might want to consider looking into that. And let's see what else. Oh, and then I had the PAB meeting. I'm going to forward a packet that I received at the PAB meeting. It was a very informative, interesting meeting, and something that we haven't talked about a lot here when we've talked about affordable housing is manufactured housing or mobile homes. They're communities that are at risk because they own the homes but not the land. And the county's pushing for helping preserve ownership, because to go into subsidized housing, if there was parks closing, costs a lot of money. And it's also sort of, in some ways, a very resilient way for affordable housing, mostly seniors and families. A lot of Hispanic families too live in manufactured housing. So they've done an assessment of the whole county, and there's 4 in our city. And so I'm going to send that graph as well as the information. And then the next meeting on the 8th, they're going to go over solutions. And I won't be here for the next meeting, but I want to forward those solutions, because when we're talking about the middle housing and the codes, there's opportunities for coding them to stay as they are so that they don't change use, and the developers don't come in and change the use and then end up with mass evictions. So just something to think about, and something the county's working on. And it, like I said, everybody there was super impressed with the presentation. So there's a packet, and then the PowerPoint's very different from the packet. So when I get the PowerPoint and forward that, take a look at it as well, because it'll have different information in it. And then along with my fellow counselors, we were there Saturday at the Garden Corner Curves opening. It was such a beautiful event. Mayor did a great job, and I'll let him talk more in the city staff, but to see all those tents pop up and pop down first thing in the morning. And I mean, I don't know how many people were there. It must have been close to 100 people, right? And there were activities, flower potting, but for me, the most important thing was the path that goes up. I remember when I first walked up that hill with my 2 dogs and my husband, and he said, "We're never walking up this hill again." And the path is so wide to walk or bike on that I saw somebody there with a double stroller with 2 kids in it, and they were easily able to traverse the path. So I hope everybody has an opportunity to go take a look at it. The other thing I loved was the planting for the water reserve. So how everything was planned and how everything turned out was just beautiful. So it was nice to see people in person, and that's enough out of me. Thanks.
All right, Councilor Hillier.
Thank you. I think people will report on meetings that I went to, Councilor Pratt and the mayor.
Councilor Pratt.
Okay, well, the first one I know, Councilor Hillier, was the Equitable Housing Solutions Zoom meeting, which was interesting. And the one concern I took out of it is it seems like there are a lot of resources for people that, to prevent eviction and things, but I'm not sure that the people that need these services have that information and have access to that information. So that's my concern on that one. The climate action plan, yeah, we've picked, we did the interviews with the 4 top picks. There were 8 total. We picked 4, and then Cheryl Lynn and 2 other city staff did the interviews, and I listened in. And so we picked the one we're going to do. And the last piece of that is tomorrow we're going to have a talk with the community outreach person in that group, because she had a family emergency, so we're going to meet with her tomorrow. I went to the Martin Azzywood CIO meeting and did my 5 very fast minutes. It was fun. Then had a C4 Metro meeting, and they had the Interstate Bridge Replacement Program people, the I-5 bridge, talking and wanting money from Metro was why they were there. They say they've listened to the concerns from last time about, having public transit, having it big enough, having pedestrian and bike access, and also being climate friendly. So we'll see how they do with that. And the other thing was the Metro came with they work on this transportation improvement plan. It's like a forecast for 20 years out, and they're starting in the visioning and values process of that. And then, the last thing, of course, was the Garden Corner Curves, and I wanted to call it city staff for, I've never seen anybody take stuff down so quickly. And Cheryl Lynn for thinking of having the marching band. That made it so much fun.
All right, Councilor Sacco.
Good evening, everyone. So I attended the SRO meeting, and it was a really great meeting. I took lots of notes, but I'll try to summarize here. It was really great to hear from the SROs themselves this last meeting, and they talked about what they've been doing since schools has started up again, and some of the training that they have done over the summer. And they've had really great feedback from staff and kids alike, and they're really working on getting more interaction with the kids and bringing them, having candy available just to sort of get them in their space, so they can have just these natural sort of interactions with them, which I thought was really great. So not there's not just interactions when something goes wrong. So they're very cognizant of that. And I thought that that was wonderful to hear. They attended some trainings where they said in the past, a lot of the trainings were heavily focused on the law enforcement side, and the trainings now are more balanced with like law enforcement and education. And the educators also attended the same trainings. So I thought that was really good in harmony to have the SROs and educators, hearing the same information. And that was at the Oregon State Resource Officer Conference. And then we also had a really good discussion around uniforms in the school. And it was really great to hear and understand why uniforms in the school is so important. And it sounded like there was a lot of support from the committee itself on officers wearing uniforms in the schools. And again, why that's so important, especially in our community, Tualatin, where we are a smaller city and there are only so many officers on duty at one time, and why it's important for them to be ready and available for other needs as well in our city. So it's a really great discussion. I was really honored to be a part of this particular discussion. There was a lot of great feedback that came out of that. I also attended the garden corner curves opening. Again, kudos to everybody who participated, making that happen. It's a beautiful pathway, and as somebody who's out there running often, it looks like a great safe space. Lights, which is also very important for people's safety, especially when it gets dark so early. And so that was really exciting. And tomorrow I'm attending the Oregon City Business Alliance for the topic is tolling. So I don't know if anybody else is going, but I'll be there around lunchtime tomorrow. That's it.
Thank you. Councilor Reyes.
Not much these last couple of weeks have happened, but I just want to say that I attended also afterwards. I'm kind of like was walking around the new garden corner, and it looks fantastic. I was able to take photos of the band and a couple of things that were out there that I thought stood out to me. So yeah, I was one of those individuals too that I used to ride my bike all the time around that area and used to scare the heck out of me. And I'm just glad it looks so beautiful and clean and wonderful. So thank you. That's all.
Thanks. Council President Grimes.
Hello. I have no new report for tonight, but I am thrilled with the Garden Corner Curves project and so excited to see people be able to use that and the path and have a safe, healthy way to get out and do things, but mostly safe, because that was one scary area. So I'm just thrilled that we have it finished and ready to go, and congratulations to everybody on that project.
All right. Thank you. I got a few things. I started off 2 highlights for the week. One was Garden Corner Curves, as people were mentioning. There had to be more than 100 people there because I think, Charlene, how many? It's like 400 or 500 donuts we went through. We had to order, the city had to order 2 loads of donuts.
Yeah, we gave 100 to the marching band, but we had like 400. So yeah.
We went through a lot of donuts. So either these 100 people were hungry, or I think there was quite a few bit more because people were wandering around, but it was a great turnout, terrific day. And I think the city did a great job on showcasing all the benefit of the project, and thanking folks for their patience over these years while we got this project done. Then the MMC meeting, the Metro Mayors Consortium, was on the 10th, where we finished up our work items from the annual retreat that we didn't get done, and focused in on what our agenda will be for the short session that's coming here in February. I also attended for a half hour the severely rent burdened Zoom meeting that the city held. And the first half hour that I was there, I thought was terrific, but I then had to leave to testify of Metro's hearing on the redistricting borders. And I testified against the two maps that split Tualatin, similar like we are today between Clackamas County and Washington County. So we'll see where that goes. And then on the 15th, similar to Councilor Pratt, at the Washington County Coordinating Committee, we had a presentation from Metro on their regional transportation plan update. As Councilor Pratt was saying, they want to kick off in 2023. The feedback they got from the Washington County mayors was that we thought their outreach and their plan was pretty aggressive and didn't allow enough time to reach out to all the different city councils and all the citizen involvement organizations that want to be involved in this, because we want to make sure the folks outside of the city of Portland are heard as part of this plan. So we'll see if they listen to that. I think they heard that loud and clear. We also had the interstate bridge replacement presentation where basically the combination of ODOT and WashDOT are looking for $70 million to begin the preliminary engineering. I'm assuming that's going to be approved because people want this to move, so they'll get that money. And the last item on the Washington County meeting was the countywide interest map for the new MSTIP coming up for 23-28. There was quite a discussion on some changes cities wanted to include sidewalks and stuff. That was voted down at this time. We're going to keep focusing on major streets at this time, but we're going to start incorporating, bike ped expansion possibly in the next MSTIP. But we wanted to get this one going so we can get the public outreach plan, completed by Washington County and start putting out the call for projects for the next 5-year cycle. Oh, what I forgot to mention where I was leading, because it was such fun. I mentioned that the Garden Corner Curves was one of the highlights, but back in the 9th, I had the opportunity to visit 4 of the 2nd grade classrooms at Bridgeport. They're studying civics. So David James asked me to come in and speak to the kids, and it was a blast. I mean, I had about 10 to 15 minutes in each classroom. I did a really quick introduction, and then every child had a question or multiple questions, everything from, why do you want to be mayor? What do you like about being mayor? What don't you like about being mayor? What's your favorite cereal? What's your favorite part of Fred Meyer? Why do you look like my dad? What's my favorite animal? All kinds of things. It was terrific. So I really enjoyed that. And then on the 17th, attended the Greater Portland Inc. board meeting. A new chair was elected to take over the Greater Portland Inc. On the 18th was the Tualatin Chamber of Commerce's board meeting to see what's going on there with the new interim director of Caitlin. On the 19th, met with Senator Wagner at the chamber. The chamber asked him to come in and catch up because it's been a while that the chamber talked to Senator Wagner. Had a nice discussion about, he stuck around for about an hour and a half, and his aide stuck around for 2 hours to catch up on what's going on in Salem and addressing the concerns of both the residents and businesses here in Tualatin. And finally, just as I mentioned before, on the 20th, went to the Garden Corner Curves. And that's all I have. Anything else for the good of the order? But one thing, go back with the kids. I told David, as anytime you want me to come back to any grade, ideally in elementary school, because they just jazz you up. They were so pumped. As I was walking in after they checked my COVID card and all the good stuff and all masked up, that as I was being led to the classroom, a young boy came up and asked me if I was the mayor, and I said yes. We were chatting, and the counselor says, we're heading into the classroom. We want to know, are you going to my classroom? And the counselor said, yes, the mayor's going to your classroom. So how about you walk with us? We'll all walk in and we'll announce the mayor. Well, you know how that worked out. He ran ahead, opened the door and said, hey guys, it's the mayor. So it's kind of nice to walk into a room and you feel like a rock star. All these kids are like, yelling and screaming and, saying hello. So it always invigorates you. It got me all pumped up for, at least I'm still pumped, right? A week later, 2 weeks later. So if you're ever asked to do it, I encourage you to do it. It's a lot of fun. And so with that, we've got about 10 minutes left. So go ahead and take a break and we'll start up our city council meeting at 7 o'clock.
Recording stopped.